Man, y'all cannot stop talking about my quarterback. Can y'all just leave this man alone? It is the off season. Everybody's trying to chill. Leave this man alone. The media has been talking about this man every single week. Several times a week they've been talking about this man. He is trending on Twitter nearly every single day. Can y'all take this man's name out of your mouth and just let him be him? My God, y'all will not stop discussing him. This is why I say he's the most polarizing player in football today. Y'all can't stop talking about him. If somebody's not trashing him, somebody's questioning his style of play, somebody's questioning his ability to throw the football, somebody's questioning whether or not the Ravens want to keep him long term, y'all won't stop talking about the damn dude. Let him breathe and let him live his life. It's the offseason. If you want to talk about another quarterback, go bother Baker. Go bother Kyler, especially with the situation with the Cardinals. Go bother Russell Wilson. Especially go bother Aaron Rodgers. We don't know if he's coming back to Green Bay. Talk about him. For God's sakes. Like, I keep talking about Lamar every damn day. You know what? It is what it is. It comes with the territory, especially when you're one of the best players in your specific sport and you're one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Obviously, you're going to be consistently talked about, especially when you do not have an extension done. And that's basically been the topic regarding Lamar Jackson. So, of course, like I said, on this week's episode of Why Can't Y'all Leave My Quarterback Alone, the media has been doing nothing but talking about Lamar Jackson and how he still has not gotten a contract extension from the Ravens. What's going on with that? How they're going to get that done? And they've even been saying two things. The one thing they've been saying is that Lamar Jackson should hold out and he should not step on that field and play a single game of football until they get that contract extension done. That's the first thing they've said. I'm going to be honest, that's just not going to happen. Lamar loves this game too much. He's a competitor. He loves to play the game of football, and he's spoken on this several times before. This whole situation, they will get it figured out. He's just going to keep playing games. So Lamar Jackson is not the type of player to just hold out and not play football until he gets a contract. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's not how Lamar operates. So whether or not he gets a contract extension during this offseason, Lamar Jackson will be playing football for this upcoming season. That's not debatable. Second thing the media has been talking about is Lamar Jackson has to get this deal done this offseason because we still have questions of his style of play. And now with him suffering that ankle injury or that bone bruise, which it really was a bone bruise, but that now that he suffered that injury that's taken him out of several games, we don't know if we can still trust his play style. The same question we've been saying since he's been in the league. We don't know if we can trust his play style. And we don't know if we can trust his health and his status. Is he going to become injured? Now that he's been injured, is he going to continue to get injured? He has to get a deal done now before anything happens in the future. Because if he gets injured again, then he's going to lose his value and all of a sudden he's going to drop down and all this other stuff. That's basically what the media's been talking about. For that second issue, I say this, man. Every quarterback at some point in their career has suffered some sort of minor injury. Whether it's minor or major, whether it takes you out or not, of course, we know guys like Eli never really missed a game due to injury, or someone like Brett Favre who just was a tank and literally just played through injuries. That's just what he did. I get it, but every quarterback's been nicked up. Every quarterback suffered through some sort of injury. It happens at some point in your career. It's gonna happen. It doesn't mean it's gonna stop you from being great, especially if it's not a serious injury. It was a bone bruise. He didn't tear an Achilles, didn't tear his ACL. It was a bone bruise. He's fine. They're overreacting. And the guy, pretty much up until that injury, had been one of the healthiest quarterbacks in the game, especially considering the way he's playing football, which again, he was still safe in getting out of bounds and not really taking hits. But considering the fact that he was doing that much work, in terms of the workload, not in terms of the hits, in terms of the workload, he was our run game and he was the quarterback at the same time. So he was dealing with the passing game and he was the engine to our running game. So we were overworking the hell out of this dude, especially this year. This guy was going to break the record for most total yards put up by a quarterback in NFL history. That's how much we were working him. And we had to do so because Lamar was the only really talented guy besides Mark Andrews on the offense that we could really consistently rely on. We got talented guys on the offense, but the only people that were consistent was Lamar himself and Mark Andrews. So Lamar pretty much had to carry the workload of the running game because you didn't have a J.K. Dobbins or a Gus Edwards there to help him. So we overworked him, and eventually, in a season where everyone's getting injured, injuries caught up, and unfortunately, Lamar ended up suffering one. So I don't think it's something that's gonna linger. It's a bone bruise. He's gonna be fine. But the media is talking about it, and they're saying due to that injury, it could come up in the future. He may end up becoming injury prone, so it'd be smart for him to sign the contract now to avoid all that confusion, all those issues in the future. Media just loves doing this, man. Y'all gotta stop overreacting. You gotta stop with this whole injury situation, play style, all this other nonsense. Lamar is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Yes, he has a unique play style, but it's been very effective, and the man continues to improve every single year. In terms of his ability to run the football and how the Ravens utilize his legs, he has spoken on several occasions that he does not want to continue to run as much. He wants to throw the football. It's up to the Ravens to put him in a scenario where he can do that. Stop using him on those design runs and let him throw the football. That's in that case. So this whole injury stuff, I hate that the media is bringing that up, and I hate how they're trying to use that as a way to try and hinder or express that might affect his contract. Bro, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Him suffering that injury last year is not going to stop him in the slightest from getting the money he deserves. So let's stop with that nonsense. So, with the media constantly talking about this, what's my opinion on this whole situation? Look, Eric DeCosta came out a couple weeks back and said that they are going at Lamar's pace when it comes to this contract situation. They are going to go at his pace. So however Lamar chooses to handle this situation, they will follow suit and work alongside him. So the ball is in Lamar's court. Now for me, I don't know what Lamar's thinking. Personally, I believe they will get a contract extension done before the season starts. But that's just me, personally thinking that. However, it is up to Lamar. And I will say this though, Lamar is a competitive person. So I would not put it past him to be the type of individual to bet on himself. He's been doing that his whole life. People have constantly doubted his ability to throw the football, his ability to play at the highest level, his ability to continue to play this sort of play style and sustain it. They have constantly doubted this man, and they still doubt him to this day. Despite the fact that he's an MVP, and despite the fact he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game, people still doubt him. So I would not put it past Lamar to not get an extension done this year and instead choose to bet on himself. Bet on himself that he can help lead this team to the Super Bowl next season. I would not put it past Lamar to do that because he's just that type of competitive person. He's the type of person to really bet on himself. And that's what makes him so awesome. So that could be in play here, but again, I don't know what Lamar Jackson's thinking. Me personally, I just think involving the contract situation, he shouldn't hold out. He's not going to hold out. That's not the type of player he is. He's not holding out for a contract. He's going to play this season, whether they give him an extension or not. And I just believe that they will figure this whole situation out eventually. As a Ravens fan, I would love for him to get an extension before the season starts. I want that to get done. I want him to be here and have a contract secure for the next 4 to 5 years at least. I want that done. And I want it to be a deal that's worth the player Lamar is. So you know what type of money he's worth. I want it to be fair to him. But at the same time, if Lamar chose to bet on himself, I would not be mad. I would not be mad. I really wouldn't be mad. So I think it just comes down to Lamar himself in terms of what he wants to do. Like DeCosta said, they are going at Lamar's pace. So whatever Lamar chooses is whatever they're going to go with. If he chooses to bet on himself, hey, they'll let him do what he wants to do. If he chooses to sign an extension based on a certain amount and they come to an agreement, he'll have the extension done before the regular season. So I think it comes down to that. If the deal is signed before the season starts, then you know that they came to terms and Lamar's like, okay, I want this much, and they're like, okay, we'll agree with that. Though, I mean, if you saw what happened last season once he went down, you should know that whatever Lamar's asking for, give it to him. I mean, the man went down and we could not win a football game. You understand that? Like, I didn't forget. He went down and we could not win a football game. Pay the man what he deserves. But again, if he gets that deal done, cool. But if he doesn't, that means he is really betting on himself to come back even better than he was last season and have a comeback year. Because, of course, last year He was playing great, and then he had that month where he was just looking very bad, and then he got injured, and then our season kind of ended there. So, of course, he's looking to bounce back, and I'm excited to see what Lamar Jackson can do this season. So, if he chooses to bet on himself this year, I would not be mad. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.